Let's just set this whole thing up for our audience at home. Nathan, in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen is what we call a gate, and that's where these boats have to travel through. They're either going to do what's called a tack bear away. Remember, the mark is downwind, but they're going to do a tack bear away and head toward the finish line, or they're going to do a bear away jibe and head back towards the finish line. The reason why they have to do a tack or a jibe is because the wind is running in this direction approximately. You can't sail into or directly with the wind, so you have to kind of zigzag around. So here we go. We're setting this thing up, and Nathan, what's going on?
So American Magic have a large lead over Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, about a 480-metre lead, and they're coming to this mark discussing, are they going to do the left turn, which is the tack bear away, or are they going to do the right turn, which would be a bear away jibe?
As we see, they're going to do a tack bear away, but we also see really dark water in this area here. We always talk about dark water versus light water. Light water meaning not as, there isn't as many ripples on the water from a big puff. And we know now that it's blowing twice as hard. It goes from 12 to 24 knots of wind speed as this maneuver is trying to happen. Let's maybe go on board and take a good hear of the comms on board, because that's really the setup that tells us as much about anything.
You vent at this angle.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, it's all about just staying to the left here for this pressure.
All right, we stop for a second, please. And let's just set up who these people are. Paul Goodison just said, let's stay to the left for this pressure. Dean Barker, the helmsman. Terry Hutchinson, the tactician, and way forward up on this side, kind of out of view of the whole left-hand side of the race course, is Andrew Campbell, who's the flight controller. But clearly the four of them are in the comms loop.
Yeah, these four guys are always discussing what they do in the races, and this is a really interesting setup to what happens at the top mark. So let's just have a listen to the chat on board.
Yeah, copy.
You need to get back in this breeze on the left side of the course, though.
Yeah, copy that.
All soft to leeward.
Hold for a second. That was Andrew Campbell saying all soft to leeward, but he's saying that the mark on the right-hand side, the mark on this side of the boat, is actually 100 meters closer to the just down the racetrack, right?
It's just 100 meters less distance. If you take this one, you do 100 meters less distance, which, is generally a good thing in these racing.
Okay.
And even with the tack,
100 meters.
Yeah, copy. Really nice puff here. It'll be quite hot coming back to the finish.
Get wide here, Dan.
Big ease on the chip.
Okay, we'll hold it there for a second. Explain to him what's going on in this high-speed boat coming into the weather gate at 40-plus knots, I might add.
Exactly. You hear Dean Barker say there's a big, nice puff coming here, so get ready for the puff. So he's identified the puff is coming. When it hits, Paul Goodison shouts, big ease, big ease. And everyone's like, well, why would Paul Goodison say ease? Isn't he the one trimming the sails? Well, he's trimming the Traveller and the main sheet, but he's not trimming the jib. He's let the main out so far because of the increase in pressure and the wind shift to the left that the jib's now backwinding the main. And, anyone who's sailed boats knows when the main's out and the jib's on, the main flaps, and you can't depower without either turning up, which they can't because of the marks, or easing the jib.
There we go.
I think it's a spot to move a barroway dive, man.
Okay, hold there for a second. That's Goodison, back of the boat. He's the guy that really sees this pressure. He says, smarter move to bear away jibe.
So he's just saying, if we just bear away in the front of the pressure and then jibe afterwards, it's a smarter, safer maneuver. That's what he's trying to get across.
Right-hand turn.
Right-hand turn. Not much time to explain it. So he's just trying to use small, sharp words. And you can see Dean Barker turns and looks at him. Maybe he hasn't heard him properly or not, but they're trying to have a little eye-to-eye here right now to make this final call.
I think that's a key part of this, by the way, Dean turning around. He's like, are you sure? We're kind of switching our plan. In his mind, he's looking at Goody right now saying, that's a plan switcher, right? That's what you're implying right now.
That's exactly what that look means is, well, hang on, we're always going left. What do you mean right? And in the end, he reverts as we listen here and says, no, stick to plan A.
Okay.
Hard maneuver. It's going to be a real hard maneuver to take barrel away. Standing by. Keep going. Go, Goody. That's it. Yep.
Okay, we'll hold there for a second. Essentially, Dean kind of overrode that. So you had Goodison saying, safe maneuver is going to the right. It's going to be really hard. this is a really hard maneuver. He says it twice. This is a really hard maneuver, saying it twice. He doesn't ever say, don't do it. Clearly, the way these guys are set up is Barker has the last call.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it looks like Barker has the last call. And Goody was not nervous, but he was elevated in his voice. He could sense that there was a situation developing here, I think, and trying to get everyone in tune.
Okay.
2, 1 more down. Turning. I'll stay here. 1. Turning down in 3, 2, 1. Turning down now. Oh, lost the rudder here.
Not much else to say there.
Not much else to say there, except there wasn't a whole lot of main sheet to be eased, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick peek at this. Here's the main sheet right here. The Traveler, which is the on this track slide, that is absolutely at the bottom end. The main sheet gets eased. We estimate maybe 100 mil. They sail around right around in this area here. And there's only about that much ease, which we think is about 6-8 inches, something like that.
Yep.
Not a huge ease.
Not a huge ease for such a windy bearaway.
Let's go for another view, this time from the side, from the chase boat. As we come around the mark, we're going to see some reasons why the boat lost control.
Okay, so the first one here is they're rolling into a tack. The tack, as we said, was a very nice tack. You know, they kept it falling the whole way through, but what happens on exit is the main is hung up, it's eased, and it's stuck on that leeward backstay. If we just pause very briefly, we can see up here, leeward and windward backstay. So this is the leeward backstay. The sail up here is pinned on it, which means they can't depower the boat any further.
Backstays are necessary because they hold the mast up, they bend the mast, they control the jib shape. So the leeward side, that's the bottom side, the side away from the wind, that's supposed to be loose. That shroud's supposed to be loose. That backstay is supposed to be loose, and it's not.
So then what happens is massive heel occurs, and then the rudder pops out of the water at the back, and you see all that white water come off the back of the rudder? That's when Dean Barker says, I lost control. That's when the heel's created, the boat pops up in the air, and then the boat lays over on its side because, again, they can't ease the sails out.
Let's see why the thing spun around and actually laid over on its side. We're going to take a look from the helicopter view from the back of the boat, and this is actually shows something really dramatic. The boat, we'll stop it there. The boat is it seems to be reasonably under control. It's starting to heel a little bit. That's not a good thing, but it's going straight, and you'll know what I mean in a second here, because all boats are meant to go straight, first of all, but as we play it forward really slowly, once the boat catches air, the mainsail spins the boat towards the wind as we're going forward, and let's hold it right there. The boat actually turns in the air almost 45 degrees, and so it was heading this way, and now it's heading that way. When it comes down on its side, it crashes on a part of the hull that is not made for this sort of brute force. The brute force is created fore and aft from the bow to the stern. When you land on the side, that's when you're going to do some massive damage, and that's exactly what happened in this case.